Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the video. This video, I'll be talking about AWS WAF for beginners. So if you don't know anything about WAF, this is the first tutorial, essentially a getting started guide with AWS WAF. So let's read the definition of what WAF is. AWS WAF. AWS WAF is a web application firewall that helps protect your web application or APIs against common web exploits and bot that may affect the availability, compromise security, or consume excessive resources. Now, a lot of time hackers have essentially exploited APIs. They have essentially lost a DOS attack. And if your APIs are not well protected, you're gonna get a massive bill from AWS, right? So essentially you wanna use these tools to protect your APIs, your web applications, right? Let's keep reading. AWS WAF gives you control over how traffic reaches your application by enabling you to create a security rule that controls bot traffic and block common attack pattern such as SQL injection or cross-site scripting. You can also customize rules that filter out specific traffic patterns. You can get started quickly using managed rules for AWS WAF, a pre-configured set of rules managed by AWS or AWS Marketplace seller to address issues like OWASP, top 10 security risk, and automated bot that consumes excessive resources, skew matrix, or can cause downtime. These rules are regularly updated as new issues emerge. AWS WAF includes a full-featured API that you can use to automate and create deployment and maintenance of security rule. Following are the benefits: agile protection against web attack, save times and manage rules, improve web traffic visibility, ease of deployment and maintenance, ease of monitor, block, and rate limit bots, security integrated with how you develop your application. Let's take a look at a very simple demo. I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy the first part, and we're gonna create a very basic API, a hello world API, and then I'll show you how to protect this API. So here I'm gonna say, this is my demo API. I'll click on create API and my API has been created, right? Now I'll click on create method, and this will be an any method. I'm gonna click on OK, and then I'm gonna click on mock response, and then I'm gonna click on save. So I'm gonna essentially make a mock response here. Let's head over to the integration tab, click on this icon here, mapping templates, add template, application JSON, click on here, and then add a dummy data here. I'll say alright, and on the bottom section, click on save, click on save. Again, these are your lambdas or your microservices that you will be writing. I'm essentially mocking this so I can show you. I'm gonna go to deploy API. I'm gonna deploy a stage called dev, and we'll deploy this API. And when I go to this API, everything works great, right? Hi, Samuel Shah works great, right? Now let's try to protect this API, right? So the first thing that we will learn is to block a particular IP address. So I'm gonna say, so first of all, we need to go to AWS WAF. We'll go to the IP sets, click on create IP sets, and then I'm gonna say, this is my blocking list, which will have all the associated IP addresses that are gonna be blocked. So again, I was able to use it, right? So now let me block my public IP by, this is my public IP. I'll put this on the WAF. Create IP set. So this is my blocking list. Again, you can use Boto3 to add more and more IPs based on your needs, right? I'm just showing you a hello world demo, right? Then we'll click on WebACL and we'll click on this orange button. Whatever you want to name, doesn't matter, right? Then over here, you wanna click on add AWS resources. We'll add our demo API that we just made, right? And then we click on next. Over here in the rules section, we are going to add a rule. So I'm going to click on add my own rules. We'll click on IP set. Whatever you wanted to say, put that one in. select your list from the drop down. So if the source IP address, what do you want to do? You want to block that. So we'll click on add rule, right? So now that's done. We'll set this one to block, and then we'll click on next. This looks good. Then we'll click on next, everything else to default, and then we'll click on create web ACL. Again, we'll explore all these other options that WAF has, but in another video. I want to keep the video short, sweet, and to the point. Now this might take a couple of minutes to create, so let's be patient. So I'll essentially click on web ACL. Usually, yeah, so here you can see that's being created. Here is my IP set, right? These are the IP address that I want to block. So I go to web ACL, I'm gonna click here. Hopefully this is created at this point. Again, this is loading still. So now I'm gonna go to the rules section, and here I have my blocking rules, right? Everything else looks great. Then the last thing that I wanna go to is associated AWS resources. I'm gonna again try to add it. For some reason I did not add it. So I'm gonna add my API. WAF could not retrieve the resource that you were requested. Let me just make sure. It did happen with me this, I'm not sure why, but my resource is already there. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe it's still creating, and I'm trying a little bit fast. So let me just make sure. Yeah, this works great, which is good. Okay, so let me put this up here. Now let me just try this after a while. Let me just refresh my screen. Maybe because since it was creating and I tried, going back, might have had an issue because of that. But again, I'm gonna click here, and hopefully this works now. Okay, we'll try to click on associated AWS resources. Click here. Should work. Trust me, I have tried this just before the demo. Could not receive the resource that you requested. Retry your request. Yeah, we just have to wait. Meanwhile, I think it's just maybe creating the WAF behind the scene, the WAF ACL, right? So just double checking all my stuff. Okay, this looks good. Rules, we have added our blocking rule. This one has the IP addresses, the block IP addresses, right? So this is gonna block my literally my IP address. Now all we gotta do is just add the AWS resources, and we're just gonna wait for a couple of minutes. Hopefully it works now. Yeah, so now it works. Look, so it looks like it was just creating, right? So now that's being added. Now what we're gonna do, just double checking. So my associated AWS resource has been added, and then I just made a very simple rule that will block a particular IP address, right? Now let me try this one. It should be still working. Okay, now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna change this to allow. What this means is default web ACL action for requests that do not match any rule. So if a particular if it doesn't match any rule, I want to allow for now. So I'm gonna click on allow, and then I will try to make the request. As you can see now, it's forbidden, right? I'll try to make the same request from Postman as well. Try my best here. So here, as you can see, right, we have forbidden, right? So works great. Right now I'll just show you by disabling or removing my IP address. So I'll delete this one. I have deleted that, and usually it takes about 5 to 6 seconds to reflect that particular change. So since it was forbidden, now I'm gonna refresh. Okay, and here you can see now I'm getting data back, right? So now it's working fine. As you can see, I did it multiple times. I clicked on it. Now it's working fine, right? So this is a very short tutorial for AWS WAF. If you don't know what WAF is, please check it out. And again, we're going to explore all these items in detail in upcoming videos. For example, bot control, regex pattern sets, rule groups, and other stuff, right? But I hope you have enjoyed a Hello World tutorial with WAF and API Gateway. And if you have any more questions, please list your question in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer that. Thank you so much for watching. This is part 1. I'll soon post part 2, where we will dive a little bit in deep for WAF, for example, bot control and other things. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. That is part number 2.